Well, I have something cooking in this thing. I actually got it in the mail a couple of days ago, so I'm gonna try out. I actually got my Suzuki carburetors stuffed in here. I just kicked it on for a couple minutes and let it warm up. But why Suzuki carburetors are in there, you may ask? Well, I am right back to where I started. Literally. I got about 100 miles on that bike, and I guess this one wants to demand me to pay attention a little more, I guess. I started leaking antifreeze out of the rear cylinder, one of the head gaskets, and it wasn't going to seal. And by the time I gave up and just said screw it and stripped it down to this, I ordered a new set of rings. Like all I did last time was just home my cylinders and stuff that was back in there, but I put new rings on it this time. I just didn't want to wait for Japan, but I did this time. And they're actually pretty quick. What happened, I think, was my own fault. And it had to do with how these cylinder heads and the cylinders join together. This one has a stud on the cylinder head on each side. It goes through, nut right on it there. And when I took it off, this was loose, and the other one was loose, and I do not recall ever tightening it. And I really think I screwed that up on my own. So I'm back to this, and this, and this. All this scattered back across my house again. Because that's the only way I can do it on my own. I literally have to strip this bike all the way down to put that engine into this frame by myself. It's just the way the bike's set up. But I think I did it in record time. That was 6 hours stripping it down to that. And about another 6 hours to get it where it's at now. And the cylinder's all redone. Back in there, new rings. And ready to be thrown back on there. The only thing I can't do by myself, and there's no getting around this, I've tried. I've maybe got lucky once on the front cylinder, but I can't do them both like this, is that these timing chains really just get in the way, and you literally have to have someone physically holding these up while I slide that whole monstrosity of a cylinder head and jug on there, and get it seated onto the case. And there's just no way doing it by myself. I've tried so many. It's just not. And I don't have a whole lot of friends that I can call in a pinch, literally. And I have somebody on standby today to get this back together. It's been torn apart for a few days now. But I had to wait on gaskets set from Poland. And I get gaskets from all over the world, And it is kind of aggravating, especially with what's going on right now and all that stuff. You don't know what prices of stuff's going to be. So, I got a new ultrasonic cleaner because the Harbor Freight one I severely abused, and I have no complaints. That little thing has cleaned some stuff. But I like this one because I can fit a cylinder head in it and clean stuff. Yeah, it's a lot bigger. And I guess the deal of my week last week is I found something on auction on eBay. There's one person out there that's probably mad at me, man, if he realizes what this is. Because it got bid on by a few people. But I found a 10 row. And it had some stuff in it, and it was missing a couple of pieces, but it was only missing the clamps because my Sportster takes 1 3/8, and then they only had one set of clamps. Normally, it'll come with all 4 different sizes in there. So I had to order these clamps, but it come with basically everything: the adapter, all the parts, 2 of these hose clamps, 4 of these, and it didn't come with any line, but it was just loose. All this stuff loose and it was part of a kit. It just had a couple things missing out of it, but it come in a, you know, the hose line box. So the person that sold it on auction said they had no clue what it is, and thank God there's a couple of us Harley guys sold that on there, because the honest truth, I got all this set up for $140, and I have literally, I don't know, 25 bucks in them clamps on top of that 140. And if you know anything about that brand and this cooler, you know how much this stupid thing is, or I wouldn't buy it. The stuff for Harleys are ridiculously priced to start with, you know, and stuff like this, since I put all that Hammer performance stuff on that bike, I don't see this as a bad idea any which way I go. So next oil change that's going on, and I gotta get this thing back together. Makes me sad, but I do learn from my mistakes sometimes, and sometimes I'll make them again. But I've had this bike for so long. If I keep my hands out of stuff, man, it probably wouldn't go wrong. But you know, once you start messing with something, you can't help it. You know, it's a learning experience. And like this guy right here. What's up, buddy? How you doing? So I'm gonna get back to cooking these carburetors some more.